Now, you're doing something really cool. And when I heard about it, I said, wow, we have to get him off of this. You're doing a movie about Bill Lee.
Yes.
And for those younger listeners and viewers, I mean, Bill Lee was out there, but he could play too, right?
Yeah.
Bill Lee, a Red Sox pitcher.
Yeah, Bill Spaceman Lee started with the Red Sox and then ended up going to... got in some trouble there and ended up going to released and getting traded to Montreal and ended up getting in trouble there and getting released as well because he was so outspoken and he was a real wild card. And I think that it was because he was almost a threat to the establishment in a way because he wasn't just one of these athletes that was wild for the sake of being crazy. He was a really, really bright dude and still is. I mean, he came to the set a few times. I talked to him many times before we started shooting, and he's a tough guy to keep up with. And he's a tough guy to embody in a movie because he's such a unique figure.
So what are some of the things you do to develop that character, get to know him so that you could become him in the movie?
Well, a lot of what I watched him. I really watched a lot of the way he was when he was younger, whether it's documentaries or interviews or whatever. And then just getting to meet him and talk with him, you get a real sense of the guy and how he sort of relates to people, and he tells jokes, and sometimes he thinks they're a lot funnier than they really are.
Right.
But
Don's like that.
Fascinating dude, and I'm really, really proud of this movie. I wouldn't be here talking about it before we even have a release date if I weren't so excited about it. It's a really, more than anything, it's just a really easy movie to watch, and I think Brett did a great job with it.
Now, it's weird because Hollywood with sports movies, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like with Pride of the Yankees, which was a great movie, Gary Cooper could not really get Lou Gehrig's swing down because he was right-handed, so they had to flip the film in order to make it look normal. Other times, like Kevin Costner, he nails it.
Yeah.
Can you pitch like Bill Lee?
Well, I threw balls I played quarterback and I played baseball, so I've thrown a ball my whole life.
Right.
I'm obviously right-handed. He's left-handed.
How'd you do that? Are you going to flip the
So
film?
what they did is we flipped the negative, and we just sort of, everything was done reverse on the baseball field. So I was my jersey was number 37. We just reversed that. Anybody that hit the ball would run to third, then second, then first, then home.
Wow.
And everything just went in reverse, and then when you reverse it, it looks like it's real, and I'm throwing left-handed.
And you got the whole leg kick and everything?
Yeah, it took a lot of work to try to emulate. He had a very unique sort of pitching style, so we worked a lot on that. I talked to Bill about it. He made fun of me because my legs were much skinnier than his. He had those pitchers got big, strong trunks for legs. So yeah, we worked in the mechanics and then just try to copy him as well as I could.
But Michael's so right about sports films. Like, I thought Disney did a great job with Miracle, but then the criticism was, well, the gloves were modern and not from 1980. And then in Field of Dreams, they decided not to reverse the film for Ray Liotta, so they had shoeless Joe Jackson batting right-handed instead of left-handed. Now, that might drive a sports fan crazy, but in Hollywood, is that something that do you need the perfection to make it work?
Well, I mean, that begs the question, does anybody know that shoeless Joe Jackson was what was he, right-handed? I don't know.
It was left-handed and Ray Liotta was right-handed, so they just made that mistake.
I didn't know that, and I'm a big sports fan, but I do. It drives me crazy when I watch something and I feel like who's ever playing, throwing a ball or hitting or whatever has never played the sport before. It drives me nuts in sports movies. So, at this point in my career, all I can really do is play the guy just desperately hanging on to whatever is left of his career.
Now, is Bill still, because he's pitching in semi-pro leagues in his 60s,
he still pitches,
right?
yeah. He still pitches. He I'm not sure which team he's with now. I think he's up in Canada somewhere. But, he just loves the game of baseball, and that's ultimately what this movie is about. It's not so much about his career playing for the Sox. We touch on all that, and we touch on his career with the Expos. But it's really about how he sort of came to terms with, A, being blackballed from the league, and then B, what is he going to do with the rest of himself, with the rest of his life, with this love for baseball still strong.
Well, we were just talking off air with Ben Lyons, who's a producer on the film, and for people who don't know much about him, he had his issues with drugs.
Oh, yeah.
And I threw it out there, and you didn't seem to go away from it, that it sounds like there's an element of it that sounded fun to me, of a bit of like a stoner baseball movie.
It's a total stoner baseball movie. And so we're trying to capture both both cultures, because it was. I mean, that was part of what he was. He was on the cover of High Times magazine, I think 2 or 3 times while he was playing.
That's unbelievable.
Didn't make baseball loved that,
right.
and didn't hide the fact that he experimented with hallucinogenic drugs. He felt like they expanded his mind, and that's part of the reason why he became the spaceman, and he still to this day doesn't hide from that.
And you had to emulate pitching games while high?
Oh, yeah. There was a game. Well, one of the things that we did, I wasn't high, just so you know, Michael. I just want you to know.
There's kids watching.
Yeah, exactly. But part of it was, to loosen up this Canadian beer league that he was playing in. He got almost stoned before they went out and played. And there's a whole, animated sequence that happens after that. But that was definitely part of who he was, and we didn't shy away from it, for sure.